We are here live with Janelle, the part-time CEO. So thank you so much, Janelle. Can you please introduce yourself and let everybody know what you do with the part-time CEO and how you help people?
Of course. So first of all, Sarah, thank you so much for having me. I love working with you, and it's exciting for me to be in Recharge.
Yeah.
So I am, like you said, the part-time CEO. I'm a business strategist, and then I also run a podcast called the Part-Time CEO Podcast. And essentially, what I do is I work with women and help them renovate their business so that it truly is the company of their dreams and so that it aligns with, their life's purpose, whatever that may be.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the more people that I talk to in business, the more I realize it's kind of a universal desire to want to work less and get more.
100%, 100%. Well, in our society, we have a total imbalance between work and play. So I think people, just because we have like 40-hour work weeks and stuff, I think people assume that we're supposed to be working like 80% of the time, and then 20% of the time, like the weekends and, the evenings are reserved for rest and relaxation. But that's actually not true. So our bodies and the way we evolve, we're evolved to, work equally as much as we play and relax and spend time with family. So
Yeah, so that's super important. I think about that all the time with my life, because I stay home with my kids too.
mhm.
And I'm curious about how you came to that conclusion yourself and what your background is with before you had kids and now.
Sure. So my background is in education. So anyone, if there are any former teachers here, that, right up there with nurses and social workers, teachers are one of the most overworked and underpaid professions, which is interesting because we actually get summers off, which I think is on purpose because otherwise teachers would just like up and die, honestly, because I mean, teachers truly, it's anyway, as a teacher, I worked nonstop basically. And then I would come home at 4 o'clock or whatever, and I would just take a nap until bedtime basically. And sometimes I would even just sleep through till the next morning because I was just so exhausted. So that's my background. I have a master's in teaching. And so I taught middle school for 2 years until I became an assistant principal. And, then I just worked even more. So 60-hour weeks moved up to 70-hour weeks. And it just became so unhealthy. And I just wasn't enjoying my life. Like I was underpaid. So even when I did have time off, I couldn't go on vacation and really enjoy the fruits of my labor. So it was just a very extremely stressful time. And then I got married, and then I had my daughter, and my priorities just totally did a 180. And, the moment I had my daughter, I was like, I'm not leaving her, and I can't even go back to work. Like even when she's older, I was like, I cannot go back to a 40, 50, 60-hour work week job, even when she's in school, because I would come home from those jobs. And like I said before, I'd come home from my career as a teacher and literally like go to bed at 5 p.m., right? Because I was so exhausted. So I was like, how can I come home and like take care of a child? So that really kind of started, my entrepreneurial journey is a long story, but essentially that's what influenced my desire to be the part-time CEO and run on a 20-hour per week schedule max. And because, being a mom, as you know, is a full-time job in and of itself, and being a wife. And so I needed energy for that, in addition to recuperation time and me time and time to just be Janelle.
Right. Yeah. And what have you seen by incorporating all of this into other businesses? Like, how have you been able to help other businesses cut down their hours more and still be able to make the impact they want to?
100%. Well, the first thing is because this culture of, work, 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 the Protestant work ethic is so ingrained in our psyche, we as business owners, even though, a lot of times we go into business for ourselves because we want flexibility and we don't want to answer to anyone else but ourselves. We want that autonomy. We typically end up creating a similar or worse work week for ourselves. And we have a tendency to overcomplicate things. So for example, and this is pretty much what I do. So when I come into a company or I work with a business owner, essentially what I'm looking at is what is the structure of your business model? That is really the number one question that I'm asking, because that is going to determine everything. A lot of times, I am hesitating because I know a lot of people are really, I know systems is a really hot word right now. I know it's really important for a lot of businesses. I actually don't think systems and more automations are the answer to, the question for an overworked CEO. For systems, I know systems are like really sexy and everyone wants to, to do more in less time. Typically, the answer is changing your business model and fixing the way that you're approaching how you serve your clients. That makes all the difference. And usually then you don't even need the systems.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, just working with you the other day, you helped me to do that a little bit, and that was really transformative for my business. And it's something that I'm constantly looking at myself, because I just have, I homeschool my kids, which takes a lot. It's like you said, it's like a full-time job. I don't want to hold back on my kids. I don't want to hold back on my clients. I don't want to hold back on anybody. So how can we optimize this in the best way so everybody wins?
Exactly.
And what are some specific steps that you have taken your clients through to optimize their business model, or what's something that people can start doing right away?
Sure. So exactly. So something that I create with my clients is what I like to call business by design. Okay, business by design. And essentially, really, it should be entitled more like life by design.
Right.
Because what I have my clients do is I say, okay, what is the vision? And I really encourage anyone who's watching or listening to do this for 2019, right? This is the perfect time of year to be thinking about this, right? Because it's like a whole fresh new slate, right? And you get to start over if you want to. So business by design is first what you need to do. There's 3 steps. The first step is you need to create a vision for what it is you want your life and your business to look like. Like, answer the question, it would be amazing if, right? And so the answer to those questions for me is, it would be amazing if I could only work 2.5 days a week, right?
Yeah.
It would be amazing if, and still, run a 6-figure business. It would be amazing because you can, and I say that only because, I always want to clarify that, because a lot of people are like, oh, I do work, 20 hours a week, but then they're making like $5,000 a year in their business, right? Like, so it's 20 hours a week, right, but still be really profitable and really successful. It would be amazing if I could be a stay-at-home mom with my daughter for most of the week. It would be amazing if I could, have really good quality time with my husband, a couple times a week. It would be amazing if I could take a vacation anytime I wanted to and not have to worry about whether my clients are being served or not served or what have you, right? So just go ahead and list all these things, and maybe yours are mostly business, but maybe yours are mostly personal. Like, it would be amazing if I could get 8 hours of sleep a night. It would be amazing if I could sneak in a shower every day that was longer than 2 minutes. Right? Like, all the moms out there, the dads are going to be like, oh, I don't get that. But the moms.
Exactly.
So it's, those things. It would be amazing if I could have 10 minutes to myself in the morning to get ready or whatever. Create that vision for what you want your life to look like, assuming that there are no boundaries. I think a lot of people think, okay, as a business owner, I'm supposed to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 or whatever when the kids are in school. That's absolutely not true. Do you prefer going grocery shopping during the week when no one's there, then make time for that. Are you the type of person who really enjoys working out in the morning and not at 4 p.m. when the gym is, crowded? Work in that time during, instead of working. Essentially what I'm saying is to make sure that the way that you are running your week is authentic to you and the way that you work best, whether you're a morning person, a night person, a mid-afternoon person, which I don't think anyone is, right? But make sure that you are being really true and authentic to yourself. So that's the first thing, is to create the vision for what you want your life to look like. The second thing, and this is contrary to, or the second step, which is contrary to what people would typically do. So typically someone would say, okay, I've got my vision, I know what I want. Now I need to, build systems and put things in place to make that happen. Actually, step 2 is removal. It's remove everything that does not support this vision and set very clear and very hard boundaries around this vision. So literally, something that has supported my vision was moving thousands of miles away from our immediate families. So my husband and my family live in the same town. We moved to Salt Lake City from Tampa, right? We both love our families. We both have incredible families, but we each have a lot of siblings, right? I'm one of 4, he's one of 3. So there were always activities going on. Every weekend was stuffed to the brim with dinner here, dinner there. This person wants to see the baby. My sister has a softball game. His sister's coming into town, right? Like it was just always packed to the brim with activities. And we never got a chance to just have like a weekend to ourselves or even a free evening, right? In the evening, we would think that we would have off and then someone would drop by or a friend would want to hang out or what have you, right? So something as drastic as that might be the answer, right? And we moved and we're like so happy. We love it. Obviously, we miss our families and we enjoy seeing them when they come visit. But it's just been so nice to be able to create our own schedule and our own life without the influence of immediate family. But outside of that, it could even just be like, are your friends kind of taking advantage of your schedule and inviting you over to coffee or distracting you? Or do you need to get and invest in childcare? I see a lot of moms who are like desperately trying to be these nap time CEOs. Some of you can work that way, and that more power to you. I cannot work that way. Like I cannot work in 2-hour spurts, once a week, like or once a day. Like that would drive me insane. I don't know how I would schedule appointments. Like, it would severely limit the growth of my business if I were stuck to the times that my daughter was napping. And so just like getting a nanny, 2 or 3 times a week, right? And just having someone come in for $10 an hour. I mean, it's not a huge investment, but just so that you can have time to completely focus on your business. So remove the things that don't support your vision, set those hard boundaries, and then, which is I kind of already started talking about, step 3 is create, right? Okay. So that is create. So you create the life that you have envisioned, whatever it takes, right? And this is gonna come with a lot of mindset blocks. Even when I just said nanny, I'm sure a whole bunch of you were like, oh no, my husband doesn't support that. Oh my gosh, where am I going to find someone that I can trust with my kids? Listen, care.com has been a lifesaver for me. And, you can get background checks and all that jazz, so that there is no excuse. And if your husband doesn't want you getting a nanny, well, you know what? Your husband, then he should come stay home with the kids, right? Like if he's not part of the day-to-day taking care of the kids for the majority of the time, then I don't think he gets a part in that decision, especially if he's not running a business. That's just me. But, and so getting a nanny, creating your life, setting those boundaries with your family and friends, right? Like if you work so for example, I work Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday mornings. If my mother calls me on a Tuesday, I will not answer, right? Like I am working, okay? She knows that Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are the day to talk, right? And so, and literally, I mean, just like turn your phone off, treat it like a regular work day. So setting those boundaries, creating your life, and also, and again, at this point now we're adding, so what do you need in order to be successful? Do you need a new offer? Do you need a housekeeper? Do you need, right, like we said, childcare? Like, what do you need to make your vision for your life work? Obviously in a way that's sustainable. So if you're not making any money in business, then now might not be the time to hire someone. But do you need a VA, right? Like just thinking about what it is that what do you need to put in place to support this vision. But do not add anything until you have removed the blocks and the things that are getting in the way of your vision, because then otherwise it's just going to be like this cluttered mess, and that you're going to be so overwhelmed and you won't be able to see what's left, if that makes sense.
Right. And I just wrote something about this morning about how if you have that mental clutter in those blocks, when you go to create, they're going to be your creation is going to be infused with these subtle blocks that you've been putting out there.
Absolutely. Well, essentially what you're doing is you are limiting yourself, because, you know, it's a lot harder to create a new life when you've got all of these, you know, reminders and all of this energy from your past life. So like, for example, when you got married, Sarah, did you have a lot of memorabilia from your past relationships?
No,
Right.
Not at all.
Neither did I. So when you're with a boyfriend, you know, typically you'll have his sweater and he'll give you gifts and things like that. But once you marry someone else, you typically don't step into that commitment with all that memorabilia and all that luggage hanging around, right? Like you typically get rid of that before you move into a new relationship. That is what you need to do with your business, right? I always like to use relationship analogies with business because it truly is like our baby, and it's a relationship. And so, but yeah, you're not going to move into this new business model with all this baggage from your old business model that wasn't serving you, right? So you want to make sure, or even another analogy would be like a house, right? Like when you move into a house and you have all these ideas for the space and stuff, but then you've got like all your old stuff. A lot of times that's why people get rid of so much. It doesn't look right. That's why people get rid of so much when they move, because they're like, they want to start fresh. They want new things. They want new energy. Same thing with your business. Get rid of the old stuff, then bring in the new stuff and the systems as needed. But if you're making systems to make the old stuff easier, it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's such a good point to like really listen, like hear that.
Yeah.
It's not going to work if what you were doing before wasn't working. The systems aren't going to be the thing that makes it work.
Exactly.
I wish that it's funny, all of this, the stuff that I'm learning now in business, I wish that I had known that in the very beginning, because I could have shaved years off of my timeline with my business, because through trial and error, and just like, you know, you read a quick article or you read something flashy and you just want to automatically start implementing it into your business. Before you know it, you have all of this clutter, and you have like, you're doing a million things that conflict in some way. And before you know it, you know, it's like, what do you have to show for it, you know?
100%. Well, and that's why every single person who is successful in business has a mentor and they have a coach. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, because a lot of times being entrepreneurs, typically our personality is we are, you know, visualizers, we're quick starters, we're spontaneous, we're like, I have this great idea, let's do it. And we all need someone in our lives who's like, okay, wait, does this support your vision? Does this support your business model? Does this support? So like, I literally had a client of mine who she wanted to scale down her you know, hours working. So we changed her business model, right? She's starting this completely new program. It's going to be amazing, but it's going to require less of her, right? She was invited into a partnership where it was going to require a lot of her time, right? And a lot of her energy. And I literally remember sitting down and having a conversation with her and saying, I thought you were trying to move out of your business. Like how is this going to support that? And she was feeling really conflicted because she wanted to do this, right? But she ultimately decided not to do it. And now she has like this new program that is just really going to take her business to the next level. Whereas the other one, I think, would have held her back because she would have just energetically not been aligned. So, and I know that you talk a lot about energy and all that as well. But I think, you know, a lot of times entrepreneurs have shiny object syndrome, and we really need someone in our corner to help us take a step back and say, okay, is this supporting your goals or is this a distraction? Because sometimes it's hard for us to tell.
Right, exactly. We have so many blind spots. So often as entrepreneurs, we need to have that person who can see behind all that stuff and like see the reality and just shine the light on it. I just want to tell you guys a quick story about one of my friends who she is doing like a part-time business, kind of like what you're talking about, Janelle. And she was staying home with her kids, and she decided, you know, this is really stressful trying to, you know, balance my business with my kids. Let's, you know, put them in school, and I'll have all this extra time to do my business and really, you know, get it to where I want it to be. And she was telling me when she did that, she had all this extra time, her business actually tanked because she had so much time. She spent, you know, doing things she didn't need to be doing, over analyzing things, worrying about things. Like sometimes when you have too much time, it can actually harm what you're trying to create. And so she got another job. So she had a job plus her business. And when she did that, her business actually skyrocketed. Because she didn't have time for any BS. She didn't have time to like hold people's hand anymore. She had to outsource things, and it forced her to like really be efficient with her time, which I thought was just fascinating.
Absolutely. Well done is always better than perfect. And I think a lot of times when you have too much time on your hands, you're so focused on making things perfect that it just never gets done. Also, too, to piggyback off of that story, Sarah, a lot of people find that when they become parents and when they have kids, their business skyrockets. Because not only is it that they're like, oh my gosh, I need to support this child, right? But also their priorities just become aligned, right? And they become so much more selective. Like now taking on a client is no longer just, oh, thank God I'm getting a client. Now it's, okay, is this client going to be worth me taking time away from my child, right? And so you become so much more focused and, you know, aligned, and it just really becomes a matter of this business needs to work for me and my family.
Exactly. Yeah, your time becomes so valuable when you have kids. And I think it's great what you're doing, Janelle, to help people realize it is possible. Like you don't have to work 80 hours a week on your business, even if you feel guilty about it. You know, before I really figured out how to, and I'm still working on it, how to optimize my business model, I felt so guilty about taking time from my kids. And I just remember, oh my gosh, like this was before I had a coach, before I had a mentor, any of that. And I was just trying to do it all on my own. I remember my kids were like babies. They were like 2 and 4, and they would watch TV all day. And I felt so guilty because I'm not that kind of mom. Like I don't like TV. I mean, it was Netflix or whatever, but you know, I didn't know what else to do because I had to do what it took. And you know, so it's amazing that you can help people to really have the best of all worlds.
Thank you. It's really. Oh, I think I'm back.
It sounds okay to me.
Okay, I'm getting some feedback, but oh nope, it's gone. Perfect. No, I was just gonna say that, you know, running a business without ever letting anyone come in and take a bird's eye view of your company and your business model is like driving with a flat tire. Like technically you can drive with a flat tire, but that is not like optimal, right? And so allowing someone to come in and really make sure that your business is aligned with your values is so, so crucial, and kind of teaching you like those tips, tricks, and hacks to reduce your work week. I think a lot of business owners are on social media for most of the day, right? Which is such a huge waste of time, right? And just unnecessary. So anyways, I'm so glad to hear that now you get to spend more time with your kiddos. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's just optimizing your time like that. Instead, it's not about sacrifices, right? It's like working smarter and not harder. And let's see. Oh, we still have our create thing here. So our 3 steps that we talked about, can you just refresh us on those real quick?
Sure. So this is business by design, or even life by design. The first step is to create a vision, right? What do you want your life to look like outside of any societal boundaries? Like if you were on a planet all by yourself, right? Like how would you design your life? The second step is removal. So remove anything from your life that does not support that vision. Set really strong boundaries around your work time, around your kids' time, around your schedule, really. And just really make each of those times really sacred. And then the third step is create. So this is where we can add, right? Once we've kind of stripped everything away that's not serving us, now we can go and put back in those systems and those, foundations, those support beams, right? That are going to allow us to build this life. And again, it doesn't have to be software, right? It can be a VA, it can be a nanny, it can be a housekeeper, it can be whatever it is that you feel that you need in order to run the life that you envision.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Janelle. How can people reach you, and what do you feel like is their next best step to move forward on this right now?
Of course. So people can reach me. My Facebook group is called the Part-Time CEO. So if you want to come find me there. However, I think the next best step would probably be for your listeners to take my free 10-day challenge. So I have a 10-day, 20-hour work week challenge. And essentially over the course of 10 days, I send you 1 email a day that gives you one of my tips, tricks, and hacks to my 20-hour work week. So how I run my business, how I run my family, how I schedule my days, right? All that is in there. And you can find that by going to janellelara.com / 10-day, 20-hour. And I can also link it in the comments.
Yeah, link it in there in the comments. That's awesome. I'm going to sign up for it.
Oh, cool.
Sounds really great. Do you guys have any questions before we end the video? Let's see. So this is our first time using this particular program, and I see comments, but I don't really see the names of the comments. So I see Anna. Thanks for joining us, Anna. Let's see. Yeah, that's interesting. We can't see. Can you see anything, Janelle, on your end?
I cannot see anything. All I see is 4 viewers, and then I see like this little orange button here. Oh no, it's just team chat. Nope, I can't see anything.
Okay. All right. Well, if you guys, what was that?
I said I'm glad there's some comments that I hope people are doing it.
Yeah, so somebody said, love that simplicity is better than systems. Anna Bear says boundaries. Thank you. I will watch the rest when I get out of work. Love the information. Awesome. So if you guys have any more questions for Janelle or for myself, you can just add them to the comments. If you're watching the replay, feel free to ask questions, and I'm sure Janelle will be able to see them and answer. And we'll put the link to her, was it a 10-day challenge?
10-day, 20-hour challenge, yeah.
10-day, 20-hour challenge. So if you want to really optimize your business model so that you can have more of what you want and be able to spend more time with your family and even run your business more easily, then definitely do this challenge.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. This was fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Janelle.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.